Welcome to DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Come back after a long weekend. I'm sure everybody enjoyed their vacation, and also long weekend we had Tamil Sangam conducting a tournament, in which Ravi's team, Ravi Narala's team won, and runners were Dynamites Vijay. Congratulations to both the teams. Before long weekend, we have covered half of the games, and right now we have left around 4 games to cover. And what we will do is first we will discuss about an article. It's not an article. It's a sting operation on international cricket fixing. Video by Al Jazeera TV showed some people who are claiming that they can fix the games. Let's have a discussion with our analysts whether they are believing it or not. And after that, we'll quickly talk about IPL finals, which was dominated by one man, Vato. And after that, we'll analyze the games that concluded before long weekend, half of the games. There are 4 games left. After that, we will do a prediction. To do all these things, I have our regular analyst Jasneet, and this week Imthi and KK took off. You all know KK got married, so obviously we won't find him quite often here. But Imthi is busy because of Ramzan, so he wanted off this weekend. So to replace Imti, we have brought in one of the well-known personalities in Detroit Cricket League, and I personally like him, and I believe he's the best captain in DCL. Let me welcome him. Welcome, Jasneet.
Yeah, thanks, Jagan, and welcome all the listeners all over the world. And yeah, so I believe.
Let me introduce our guest, and I'll come back to you. Quick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and welcome, my man Samish.
Thank you, Jagan.
Okay, now I'll give mic to Jasneet. Jasneet, sorry for stopping you. Please go ahead.
So we are first trying to cover the Al Jazeera sting operation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my straightforward question to you: do you believe that?
My very first answer to that would be a yes, because whatever I looked at the 53-minute coverage, or the 53-minute movie that was that Al Jazeera has prepared, and I think it looks credible to me because the kind of proofs and the kind of evidences that they have provided to the expert that they have shown in their video, I think it's very hard to ignore those, and I think they're just still trying to get a little more clarity on, or you can say little more time to make sure that whatever they're going to present to cricket boards of Australia and England and Sri Lanka, for that matter, should be 100% concrete, and they are not making allegations just like that because they are high-profile players and these are high-profile games. The context in this operation is about the top 3 cricket boards of the world. They've talked about England, Australia, and both of them were playing against India at different times, but in India. So I think that is some revelation to me. I think the biggest one after 2010 spot fixing by Salman Butt and Mohammad Amir and Mohammad Asif, and I think this is even bigger because of the individuals and because of the cricket nations that are involved. I mean, the players representing the nations. I think this can go down to be one of the saddest days if it proves to be true, and which I doubt. Yes, it may prove out to be true.
Okay, Samish, your thoughts?
I agree with Jasneet, actually, and you always feel that there is some kind of fixing going on at certain level, may not be at the highest level of cricket, but at lower level of cricket, I'm confident that there is a lot of fixing going on. But again, with some of these nations, with India, the senior cricketers of India, I don't see a reason for them to be involved in match fixing. Same with English and Australian players, the high-profile players. But at the same time, there are other players that don't get these opportunities, this much money and this much fame. And it's very easy, especially for parts like India and Pakistan. It's very easy to get derailed just for some small, which we may think is a small sum of money, but for some of these players, it might be a big sum of money. But at the same time, as I said, I'm confident that there is some kind of fixing going on at maybe lower levels of cricket. May not be at the highest international level, but there is definitely some kind of fixing going around.
Okay, I mean, just to give my personal opinion, some of this video is definitely fabricated because I was watching, if you watch very keenly, one of the actor, I'm calling actor, he said he's going to assist with all match fixing, but he's talking in Hindi, but I forgot his name. That guy, if you guys closely watch, there were some editing issues, you know. He was looking for cut in the sense in any filming, if you have any touch with, after every shot, every sequence of action, they'll say cut. Cut is that's where the action ends. So as soon as they finish their action role, they'll look at the camera, waiting for that sound, cut, the word cut. So if you guys go back and watch that one, it clearly indicates that the script is given to that guy, and he's trying to act. He finished his dialogue, and then as soon as he finishes his dialogue, he's looking at the camera. At least that's what I felt, because I have. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. So you're trying to say the couple of Sri Lankan international players and Hassan Raza from Pakistan, were those also part of the acting crew?
That is something questionable, because I after watching this actor, I'm not talking about these two, Hassan Raza or that Indian guy. There's another guy. This is a lean guy talking in Hindi, and in one of the shots, he clearly looked at the camera. Okay, that's not natural instinct if somebody is acting on a given script. Okay, because I worked under a cameraman, assistant director, just to get some exposure. So I used to do this clapping. So whenever the dialogue is over, the actor's immediate instinct is looking at the camera and looking at the director, waiting for that cut. Okay, so that's what I felt after looking at that all that edit. But after that, what I did was I did some research on this Indian guy, and all his friends detached from him because in a very short period, from auto to bench, that is his development. In a very short period. For traveling, he used to use auto, and within a month's time, he started using bench guard. So, and definitely there is something going on with this guy. Is it match fixing? I don't know. But he's a very good traveler. Maldives, Dubai, all these places, you name it, he has traveled to all those places, and that is what is a bit fishy. And I can talk about Hassan Raza. He's nowhere in cricketing circle nowadays, and I can understand that curator, and I believe that curator's story might be true because Sri Lanka quickly acted and terminated that guy. Okay.
No. Sri Lanka didn't terminate the curator guy. Sri Lankan Cricket Board actually suspended the two former cricket players who were shown in the video clearly, but Sri Lankan Cricket Board denied that actually that the person who is being shown as a curator, pitch curator in the video, is actually not a curator.
Oh, okay.
So they have denied that person for even being a curator, but they have suspended those two individuals who are the former international cricketers for Sri Lanka.
So one of the guys was shown in that video.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, that's about that story, and let's hope for the best. Okay, if there is anything like that, it needs to be curbed for the better interest of cricket and cricket lovers. And let's hope for the best. And our next topic is IPL finals. It's completely one-man show. Watson and the old man retired from all forms of cricket, I guess, in Australia, and he's only playing T20. Jasneet.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely incredible of what Chennai Super Kings actually achieved in this year's IPL, because I'll agree that I mean I'll admit that I didn't at all think that Chennai Super Kings would be the ones holding the cup, to be honest, by the end of the finals. But yes, when on the day of the finals, I was thinking it may go either way, because Hyderabad is also a team that out of the three occasions that they lost to Chennai, came very, very close 2 times of almost beating Chennai in those two matches. And those two games could have gone either way. So it was anybody's game. But yes, when you finish the game, your confidence is rocket and sky high. So there is no feeling like winning. There's no better place to be than a winning dressing room. But I still trusted Hyderabad to put up a better show than what they did actually. Yes, you can say that when a guy like Watson, Gale, these guys, when they play the knock that Watson played, all you can do is just fold your hands and clap for the individual, and because of the brilliance that he displayed. But I think Hyderabad were not up to it. I think those 3 defeats, they did not take any heart out of the 2 performances. I think that which they put against Chennai, in which although they were beaten, but I think those were very close matches, and I think Hyderabad could have shown a bit more intent, tried a few more things. At various stages of the tournament, I seriously doubted Kane Williamson's captaincy, a couple of moves, but I think all they did coming through to the finals were defend because of their strong bowling lineup up front, with the help of their seam attack on a very Hyderabad pitch, which was assisting seamers. And later on, they suffered 4 consecutive losses, and then when they beat Kolkata, I still can't believe Kolkata lost that match, because they were in no position to lose that match. And I think Hyderabad were a bit lucky coming into the finals, and I think Chennai took complete advantage of it. And hats off to Watson. I think he has been my one of favorite all-rounders because of his abilities with both bat and ball, and especially to raise his game with situations. I remember his last international game was against India in quarterfinals of T20 World Cup against India in India. I think I think it was Mohali, and he couldn't contribute too much with the bat, but that was the best I saw Watson bowl in last 3-4 years. Though that 4-over spell was even better than any of the specialist death bowler that he was bowling. He made the breakthroughs also, and he had that nag of raising his game. the going gets tough. And I think he, as a batsman, you can't imagine, you can't dream of a better opportunity than to score a century in an IPL final and winning it for your team. And if you see hindsight, what he did was to take the contest out of the game. I mean, he single-handedly, after playing 10 dot balls on a trot, taking 11 balls to open the account, I think what he did was absolute carnage, and Hyderabad had no answers. And the way he strategized his innings, showing respect to Rashid and Bhuvi, and just not doing any sort of showing any mercy on Siddharth Kaul in particular, and Sandeep Singh. I think very smart batting, very aggressive batting, and the shots that he played were amazing. And in the end, I would say the best team of the tournament won, because that's been the story of the Chennai Super Kings throughout the tournament. There was one individual in a game who would play a game that would be equivalent to 4 or 5 individual efforts from the opponent. Starting from the game one, you had Dwayne Bravo, who didn't score more than 60 runs in the entire PSL, playing for a team in the entire Pakistan Super League. He couldn't score more than 60 runs in the entire 8 to 10 matches that he played, but he scored those 60 odd runs in a single game, and that too with a strike rate of over 200. Then you see Sam Billings, then you see Mahendra Singh Dhoni himself in a couple of matches, and then Faf du Plessis in that qualifier, and now you see Watson again, and Ambati Raidu is an unsung hero again. So I think the better team won, because they had individuals who when raised the hands, made sure that it's a game closed out, and we not leave for anyone else. So I think deserving Chennai Super Kings, and hard luck Hyderabad and all other teams.
Yeah, a quick question to you. I'm sure you're a Punjab fan. So, what you
I'm not.
needs? Oh, you're not.
And if you talk about IPL, no, I'm not. But yeah.
Okay. So I thought of asking you. What went wrong with Punjab? They started with a bang, and
Yeah, they started with a bang. But I remember telling a couple of my friends back in India that they won't qualify. That's what I had a feeling about. Although it was very tough for them to not qualify, but I think they did it, because to me it was a very poor bowling attack. It was not at all a balanced bowling attack, and especially when you you have to see where the team management is thinking towards when you retain Akshar Patel and you don't play him for more than five matches. The reason, because you chose a leader who you not always think is the best man to be at first part of the playing 11. I mean, with Mujib in their squad, and when they have retained Akshar Patel, I didn't see any place for Ashwin. And on a few of the attacks where they needed another seamer, they didn't have the services of another seamer, because they had to play always with 3 spinners. And when they decided to go with another seaming option, it couldn't be Ashwin, because he was their captain. So it had to be Akshar Patel, who is a better batsman, a gun fielder, and I think provides variety to Punjab's bowling attack, because being a left arm bowler. But and again showing belief in likes of Yuvraj and other. I mean, even they bought Chris Gayle in the third round of the auction. Before that, they didn't even buy Chris Gayle. So the strategy from very beginning wasn't anywhere. I think I somehow didn't feel like they had a very good team, because and where they reached was just because of the individual brilliance, because their middle order never got tested. Either Gale or KL Rahul, who was brilliant throughout the tournament, made sure that they won them a couple of games from the individual performances. But unlike Chennai, there wasn't even a single hero apart from those two. Whereas Chennai, you had 6 to 7 heroes in different games.
Okay, wonderful. Samish, your thoughts on final?
I think I'll come back to this Punjab and Chennai question later, but in my opinion, what won the cup for Chennai was not the team, but the team management. There are two things you would notice that Chennai did very well. One was that they were consistent with their players. And the second one was that when you saw every player, they were playing fearless cricket, which means that, the team plays a fearless type of cricket only when their own teammates trust each other and play for each other. That's the only time when the team plays fearless cricket. It's not because they are not scared of losing. It's because they are not scared of their own teammates pulling them down. So what I felt was, number one, if you look at last 3-4 years, if you look at Shane Watson in any 2020 team, he did not have a set batting position. And he comes under Dhoni or Stephen Fleming. What do you see? He gets to open in Chennai, and he only gets to open in Chennai, regardless of whether he makes runs or fails. In the beginning, he scored a couple good innings, then he slowed down, then again he picked up, but they never changed his position. On the contrary, if you see the same thing with Punjab, what they did was when Gale got going, first thing they did was they dropped him. Instead of giving Yuvraj Singh chances, they played him a couple of games because he was Yuvraj Singh, but then they dropped him because he could not perform. Now, who else suffered because of Yuvraj Singh was the batsman from Kolkata. I forget his name. Manoj Tiwari. If they had played Manoj Tiwari instead of Yuvraj Singh and persisted with him, they might have gotten something more out of him than they did from Yuvraj Singh. But if you want to play with Yuvraj Singh, you give him that confidence that he'll play through the tournament. So I think that was the difference between Chennai and Punjab. With Chennai, they're all, if you look at Shane Watson, you look at Dhoni was pretty much dead before this tournament. I keep telling everybody that he came back from dead when he scored those 2-3 big innings. And same thing with Shane Watson. There wasn't a team that would really bet on Shane Watson winning them an IPL. And I feel what Chennai did was they played as a team, and everybody had a set place in the team, which wasn't disturbed at all, regardless of how they did. The only positions that were in jeopardy were Harbhajan Singh and the left arm Jadeja wasn't bowling for a few games. But other than that, Dhoni knew exactly what he needed to do with his team, whereas Ashwin did not.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick question here. Raidu, he opened, he performed, yet he was not given the same opportunity in last 4 or 5 games. I think 4 games or 3 games, something like that.
I think with Raidu, my thinking would be because he's a better player of spin. And if you look at other teams that they were playing against, the spinners were the ones who were dominating. If it was Kolkata, if it was Hyderabad, it was the spinners who were bothering other teams. So in my opinion, he probably kept him down so that he can tackle spinners better. But again, as Jesse said, Raidu was not an unsung hero, but he was a hero in this IPL. I think he played a few great innings for Chennai.
Okay. I think with that, we are done with the first 2 topics, and let's get into our games. Okay. The first game of half of the games, as I said earlier, we finished before the long weekend, and we will start with GLCC versus KRCC, which was umpired by Ajay Bhatt of MLs from MCC and Arun from Dynamites. Okay, thanks to both these guys for the wonderful job they have done. GLCC versus KRCC. Samish.
Well, it was a tough game. And I know KRCC was a new addition this time, even though it wasn't a new addition, but
technically
Yogesh had to split his team into 2 because they had a couple teams that qualified for the tournament. So we didn't really know much about KRCC. All we knew was that they had done well in their first game, and I got a lot of calls from a few of my friends that talked about a lot of players on KRCC team, and just to warn the teams that are going to play them, this is a great team, and they actually played a very good game as well. They actually, KRCC won the toss and they put GLCC to bat, and our openers played pretty well. They actually scored 22 runs before we lost a wicket, and then we had a couple good scores from Abhishek as an opener, and our Ajit, he scored 34 exceptional runs, chanceless innings. And we also had some runs from Roshan, who batted very well till he got out. And we set them, GLCC set them a total of 108 runs, which seemed, with this new ball, you don't know yet what is a safe total. It seemed like a safe total, but with the way KRCC batted, they were hard to stop at one point. They have a couple great players. I think Kundan is an excellent batsman. Then Sam Khalid, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about him. He's an excellent player. He bowled exceptionally well, but fortunately for GLCC, he was not among runs much. But at one point, they were cruising at around 60 runs and only having lost one wicket. So they were looking good at halfway stage. But what I call old is gold in GLCC, they got some wickets. Ajit bowled very well, Pradeep bowled exceptional, and we got some quick wickets towards the end and helped the team win.
Okay. The next one is Legend versus Blazers, and unfortunately Imthi is not here today. Otherwise, he would have walked us through that game. So, in his absence, Jesse will walk us through that one. You must be happy to walk this game, right?
Actually, I'm not that happy because it's such a fantastic game it was that it would have been only fair for all our listeners that if the captain of the winning team and the guy who was actually there could have walked us through. I'll try my best based on the scorecard because I have only that much reference to make. So I think
before you go into the game, I just want to give you one update. Okay, there was a scoring glitch when Blazers batted first. I think they added 3 runs or 4 runs accidentally, extra runs. I mean, it's they didn't do it intentionally, but it was lack of education on how to use the app. Okay, that was caused, which eventually gave Blazers 4 runs or 3 runs extra. Okay, consecutive 3 no balls were recorded, which were not there. Okay, and in the last over or something like that, in 24th over or last over, Legends had to rush the score. In the process, they lost quick wickets, is what I was told. Okay, now I'll hand over it to you.
I think with such fine margins that I see in the scorecard in this game, whatever you just mentioned, I think that makes a lot of difference. But to be honest, I like to believe what is in front of me, and that's a scorecard. Although there could be a glitch, but I believe everyone knows how to make amends in the scorecard, and if we can do the manual thing, or if actually both teams would have agreed, they could have reduced the total and would have thought of updating with Funny's help the scorecard later on, but nothing that sort of happened. So I think Legends were pretty happy with what Blazers put on the board, and I think these sort of things should have been handled by the end of the first innings before the second inning started, because you just cannot by the end of the game say that we were chasing for extra, and that's why we lost. I think that's not the best.
That was not a complaint, or that was not a.
Yeah, I think Jagan is trying to say that it was closer than.
Yeah,
but
it
even
was
the
closer,
scorecard
but
suggests.
at no point of time, Legends captain said,
Okay.
It was intentional, or was there any, issue with that one? It's pure accident.
Yeah, but don't you think, Jagan, it could have been avoided with scoring manually for a while? And okay, we know that there were 3 extra runs if both team knew
So
about
they
it,
didn't
and they
know.
could have
They
played
came to
well.
know maybe on 3 or 4 days after the game. Legends captain tried to walk through all the line by line, ball by ball. Live scoring will be there, right? He was walking those, especially with respect to extras, to his bowlers as a part of education. That's where they came to know about these 3 extras that were scored.
Oh,
It's a training error basically.
oh,
It's not,
yeah. I'll
no
first of all,
teamwork
sorry to
about that one.
this team. Yeah. So I misunderstood it. I thought it's the Legends team and Satish, I think, who are making this point after the game is done. So my bad on that part. And I think that makes it even more closer, although there is no margin of being it more closer than what it was. But yeah, I would say another fine batting performance by Blazers team, though Legends team, as you clearly said that their captain had to go after the ball by ball commentary to just tell them that you just cannot afford to give 36 extras with this ball in particular, where it's not like difficult to score. Actually, it's if you're a balanced side and if you're playing normal cricket, I think run a ball should be or at least 5 runs per over should be the target that you should be looking at as a batting team. So when you can score those many runs with the bat, I think 36 extras is just not the way to go. And I think 36 extras was the highest score, and after that, Arun and Hari Krishnan, who has been their best batsman for the last 2 seasons, and he's a fantastic batsman. I have seen him bat, and I've heard a lot of good things also from Imthi about him. And Imthi himself stood up in the middle order, played the typical Imthi innings where he made sure that there is no collapse because extras were also coming. And with the strike rate of 50, I think he consolidated after the good stand between Arul and Hari. And then Vimal in his grand style, hitting a 6 and finishing off with 123 inside 25 overs. They had they lost this game, they would have repented. I think that they did not play their entire quota of 25 overs, but it was not to be. And while Legend started to bat, I think I've seen a couple of times the trend in the Legend batting department that uh, they actually and it's a good strategy sometimes. And I would still like to going by the scorecard and going by the style that I've noticed with Legends batting is I would still like to advise them that it's a good strategy, and I think they should stick to it because to me, cricket is all about what you're thinking in your head. When you're clear in your thoughts that, okay, I want to hit a 6 in this over, I'll choose my ball and at least want to hit one boundary. It makes it very easier rather than thinking about should I hit, should I not hit? There is a fielder on long on and things like those. So what Legends does well is not lose too many wickets up front. That's been their strategy for last couple of seasons when I was seeing this team play, and just allowing their middle and lower middle order to go all guns blazing when they approach a target. So they needed 5 runs per over, almost 5 runs per over, but they then converted it into 6.5, or even 7 runs per over, and then went after it each and every over. You see their middle order in particular, Praveen, he's a hit or a miss. I think when he hits in sweet spot of the bat, the balls usually travel. And I think he was taking the match out of the Blazers' reach, but I think Chandan having his wicket was the turning point of the game. And then Arjun, he's a fantastic batsman, and Abhinay is a class act. I've seen this guy bat on numerous occasions now. He was last year playing for Lions team. I've seen him play with the leather ball. Though he's lacking, like many of us, in the fitness department, but I think he has a game uh, to be really watched out for. And I think he made a steady contribution of 21 runs. And then when Arjun and Praveen both were dismissed by Chandan leg befores, and I know Chandan bowls the off breaks, and I think those batsmen would be really cursing their luck, or rather, I don't know if they're happy or not about, because in such a close game, two of your gun batsmen uh, get out LBW to an off spinner. I think uh, they must be really plumb, and the batsman who followed them tried to just see the ball and hit the ball, and Satish also playing just 3 deliveries, out of which he hit a 6, and similar with other players who, like Suhesh, who scored 6 of 8 balls rather. And I think it was again left to Suketu, who was their first bowler used, to bowl the last over. And I think just like the game in Warriors versus Mustangs last week, I think it was not to be for the chasing side, and rather Suketu had the better of the number 11, and Blazers just about winning the game. And I think Legends had to swallow this bitter defeat. Yeah.
Yeah, before I go to our next game, and Sandeep Gopi of captain of India's Thunder sent a
I
text.
have a question too.
I'll come to you. Okay. He said, Sandeep said, I spoke to Legends captain Satish about this incident of scoring. He said it was not intentional by Blazers. Okay. And he also complimented Satish, and he said Satish is one of the finest persons I know, truly a great guy, and play with a lot of good spirit. So
Oh yes,
that's from Sandeep.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and I know Satish personally, and you know how much I regard Imti. I think I equally regard Satish, and that's why I was a little upset when you incident to me, and because I am misunderstood that it was Satish or any of the Legends team member. But because that's what I not expect from Satish and Imti both, because true gentlemen of the game, and one of the I mean, both are the best ambassadors of DCL, if you ask me.
yep, no second thoughts on that. Samish, you had a question.
Yeah, just wondering why Srikanth Narne didn't bowl. Does anybody know?
Okay, Srikanth Narne came late to the game, and Imti was kind enough to allow him, and based on rules, he came after 12 hours after playing some other game. It is just Imti who allowed him. Otherwise, technically, he shouldn't be playing that game, and Empire shouldn't be allowing him to play the game. Okay, so
Okay.
it didn't come to committee, but this is what happened. So I think you got your answer.
Yep. So
Okay.
I was just wondering if there was a reason, because with him in the team and not bowling, it's a little
Yeah, he came late.
surprising.
Came after 12 hours.
Okay.
Okay, and even Imti offered to replace him, offered Satish to replace him with his 12th man or something like that, because he didn't reach, he was not there at the game. Okay, so ended up coming in 13th over, but Imti said you can play him, but only good thing about Satish is, even though Imti said okay, Satish didn't use Srikanth Narne for bowling.
Well, that's what Jesse was saying. Both of them are the great ambassadors of DCL, so that proves it right there.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is TCA Knights versus Detroit Bulls. Samish. Before you go to the game, this game was umpired by Raza of Canton 11 and Nickel of Panthers. Both have done a wonderful job. Thanks a lot, guys. Samish.
Yep. So Detroit Bulls is a new name, but it's not a new team, as pretty much everybody knows. And they batted first. They scored 107 runs in 25 overs. And again, one of the leading batsmen of DCL from last year, Neil, scored 40 runs off 58 balls. And he was well supported by Gibbon James. I'm not sure if you guys have seen Gibbon bat, but he's one of those batsmen. If he gets it on the middle of the bat, he's one of the sweetest hitters I've seen. I've only practiced with him, and I've seen him hit some big, huge sixes in practice, and that was with the old ball. So I'm pretty sure he can do a lot of damage with this newer, harder ball. But he scored 23 runs. He has hit 2 sixes, and it will be exciting to see what he does for the rest of the season. If I was the Detroit Bulls captain, I'd definitely send him up the order and let him free and see what he can do if he can hit some big sixes. Again, Gino was unlucky to be hit wicket. I haven't seen a lot of hit wickets in DCL, so I wonder how this one happened, but I really don't know what really happened. On the other side, one of the top bowlers from last year, Ajay Reddy, he actually gave 23 runs in his 4 overs and was wicketless, which probably helped Detroit Bulls' cause because they didn't lose many wickets to Ajay Reddy, so other bowlers had to take wickets from TCA Knights. But they have a lot of talent besides Ajay as well. Anil bowled pretty well. He just gave 13 runs for 2 wickets, which is an economy of 2.6, which in this season probably will be among the lower economies you will see. And TCA Knights, they were actually they were chasing 82. They did not start off well. They were 4 wickets down on 26, but they were starting to pick their run rate up towards the end, with Rajesh hitting 19 runs with 2 sixes in 15 balls. And in the end, they had around 8 hours to score close to 25-30 runs. But I guess the rain had to stop the game, and they lost. They lost by. Jagan, I'm drawing a blank. What's it called?
It's actually they have to use Duckworth-Lewis.
Duckworth-Lewis. Sorry. Yeah. So they lost by Duckworth-Lewis. But I think if the game had gone full 25 overs, I think TCA Knights had enough overs to score the runs. But it would have been interesting to see if they had enough wickets.
Yep. With the next game is FHCC versus Lions. Before I go to Jesse, thanks to Rahul Channa and Vijay, Rahul Channa of MCC and Vijay Shanmugam from Dynamites for umpiring this game. Wonderful job, guys. Jesse.
Yeah, I think dare I say that with this year's new ball that is being used, this was a low-scoring game, which I think 78 till last year. I think most of the times, if not every time, the bowling team would have fancied their chances. I mean, the defending team, that they'll not let the opponent score those 78, 9 or 80 runs. But so I would say here you have all the chances as a chasing team, that if you bundle out the opponent under 100, you've done a good job, I think. And I think that was exactly what happened here. And the surprising thing when I see the Lions scorecard is I don't know, without any offense to the top order of Lions team, I think Natraj needs to play amongst top 3, because he's an accumulator. He's one guy who takes pressure off the batsman. at the other end, because not by scoring boundaries, but just keep on rotating the strike and frustrate the bowling attack, because it's the single actually that bowler hates more than a boundary, because when he's hit for a boundary, he knows that it's a bad ball most of the times. But when there's a batsman like Nataraj, who I've seen can take singles of good balls also, that's when you don't like bowling to such a guy. And I think he needs to make sure that he plays the maximum number of balls in this team, and try to bat amongst the top three players, and provide a stable foundation to the lower middle order and middle order for his team. But I think other than that, Manikanta and Shashidhar had decent outings with the bat in the top order for Lions, who scored 17 and 10 runs. And it was Jashwant Kumar Dharmavarapu who actually scored 22 runs with 2 boundaries, a 6 and a 4. And the rest others were, I think, had an off day and did not contribute much with the bat. 5-6-0, 2-1-0, and there were 13 extras. So, which made sure that Lions are not totally out of the game, and I think they backed themselves off for defending those 78 runs. And I think they, at one point of time, they would have fancied their chances even more than they would have thought that at the halfway stage, because it went to the wire, especially with the FHCC team being for 53 for 5, and then 78 for 6, and then 78 for 7, and then 78 for 8. These are the thing that gives momentum to teams like the ones who are trying to defend. But I think they were a little late. Instead of 78, if they would have got those important breakthroughs on 72 or 73 or even 75 with at least 3-4 runs to play, I think we might have seen even more closer match, but not to be. And I think it was a sensible batting from Shrey Arodia from FHCC. Other than that, I think it was a dismal performance with bat from everybody else. And it was 17 extras and 34 from Shrey actually, who might be struggling to find enough partners with him, but made sure that when he was set, he almost took the game till the last, and he was the first guy out on when the scores were level. And I think the guys followed him with and tried to hit sixes. That's what I'm assuming. If it was not to be, then it was brilliant bowling, maybe. But they lost 3 consecutive wickets on 78 runs, and somehow Lions must have hoped that they can still get this team all out and take 2 wickets and get the match and end on a tie. But it was not to be. And Hemant, I know he's a good bowler. I've faced him last year. He, I think, has decent pace. So Vijay, Hemant both had good outings with the ball, and I think Nataraj and Team Lions have to introspect a lot after this game, and also FHCC, especially in the batting department, that this is not a DCL like last year's, that you struggle a lot chasing these 70 odd runs. If you are, I think there might be something wrong in the batting department. Yes, it can happen to anyone, but as I said before the tournament started, when I just knew that this is the ball, I would again like to repeat that for all the teams in DCL, as a chasing team this year, you got to back yourselves even more than the last years, because any total with this ball in this format is chaseable now.
Okay, thank you. Before I go to next game, Satish, Legends captain, sent a text saying that thanks to Jesse and Samish for having faith on me and my team. I will continue to play good cricket within spirit, is what he said. Okay. And the next game is Tamil Pasange versus Knockers, umpired by Ajit from Rising Stars and Karthik from Dynamites. Thanks a lot, umpires. Jesse.
Yeah, I think I would say it's a pretty decent performance from Tamiz Pasange in this match because Knockers is a heavy lifting team.
Let me correct you. They are not Tamiz Pasange. They are Tamil Pasange.
Tamil Pasange, right?
Yeah, that's Tamil Pasange. They are not Tamiz Pasange.
Okay, Tamil Pasange. I'm sorry
Tamil
about that.
No, I'm just joking here.
Just see, that
Yeah.
was a question a lot of other people had too. So I don't think you're the only one who didn't know. I didn't know it either.
Because I did my education in Tamil Nadu, so I know it is ZH is Allah. Okay.
Mhm.
Please, sorry.
Yeah, and no, that's fine. And coming back to the game quickly, I think Knockers also understood that this is a ball where you can score in plenty. So Deepak Raj, Giriyappa and Rohit, who both are aggressive in nature as far as batting is concerned, came as openers, but they did not have a good outing, and Knockers were immediately put under pressure. And who better than Arun and Ganesh, I think, in that team? Whenever they are under pressure, I think these two guys are the ones who raise hands and absorb all the pressure for their falling batsmen to just express themselves. I've seen Arun do it on numerous occasions, and Ganesh is equally good in playing the defensive as well as a counter-attacking game. So both first stabilized with 13 and 14 runs contribution, and then Prabhu Mahadevia, who is a DCL stalwart, I would say, scored another 16 handsome runs with a boundary, and then followed by a brilliant 31, I think, from Villayanur Sivaram Sandeep. I am not sure if I know this player, but he must be good when their team was under pressure to score those 31 runs. And then a handy contribution from Suyog lower down the order. And no other major contributions with Manoj Singh, Sanoj himself, Rakesh, and Manjunath scoring just 1, 3, 2, and 1 respectively. So I think Knockers did not get the score that they would have liked against Tamil Pasange, but 118 was always going to be enough, according to me, with the bowling lineup that Knockers have at their disposal. And that's exactly the reason why I say that I think Tamil Pasange actually did well to score those 90 runs in their allotted 25 overs, because when you score 15 runs of Deepak Raj's bowling, I think you are not playing just by the reputation. You are just playing to the merit of the ball, because most of the times with greats like Deepak, there's already a plan in place that you just see him out and try to score off other bowlers. But it was not to be with Tamil Pasange, I think, which is heartening to see for a new team, because Deepak has express pace, and with this ball in particular, he can be really dangerous. But Arjun, Pawan, Shivaram, and Nitin all did their part. I think contributed in a way to the best of their abilities, but I think it was too good a bowling lineup for Tamil Pasange, and I think, but they should take a lot of heart out of their batting performance, especially, and maybe just hope for one win, which can follow another 2, 3, or 4 maybe, and they can qualify.
Okay, thanks, Jesse. With that, we have concluded all the games that happened before long weekend. Now we get into our final section, is prediction. Samish, I have to tell you one thing here. You'll be not asked to predict the games that GLCC is umpiring. Okay, so that's the norm we follow in the radio. Dark horses versus rockers. I'm guessing dark horses. Jesse, what do you say?
What's the match? Dark horses versus
rockers.
Yeah, dark horses.
So GLCC is umpiring, so we'll skip Samish here. TCA Knights versus MI Rangers. Jesse.
Yeah, MI Rangers for me.
MI Rangers. Again, I have to skip Samish here. Rising Stars versus Dynamites. I think Dynamites will win this one. What do you say, Jesse?
I think Rising Stars.
Wow. Samish?
I think Dynamites too.
Okay. Tamil Pasanga versus Southfield Super Kings. Jesse.
Yeah, I'll go with Tamil Pasanga.
Wow. Samish.
Me too. Jagan, now that you have told us half of the name, what does Pasanga mean? Just to educate our listeners.
Tamil guys.
Okay. All right.
Guys from Tamil Nadu. I mean, guys who can speak Tamil, maybe. Tamil Pasanga means Tamil guys. Falcons versus Lions. I think. Oh, so Samish, you are giving it to Tamil Pasanga?
Yes.
Oh wow.
But I think they batted very well against knockers, especially the top 5. So we'll have to see how they do the next game.
Okay, let's wait and see. Falcons versus Lions. Falcons 2-0. Any objections there?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Kites versus TCS Stallions. TCS Stallions 2-0. Any objections there?
No, I think yes.
Okay. FCC Agni versus Safaris. Safaris actually played well in the last game, I think, against whom? They played against you guys, Jesse?
So, no, we played against
Mustangs.
Last game was bad. They only scored 33 runs, I think, against FCC.
Yeah. I think we can give this one to Agni, 2-0. Any objections there?
I think so too.
Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. KECC versus Avengers. KECC. Karnataka Eagles. 2-0.
Yeah.
Samish, okay, right?
I don't know. I may pick Avengers. I like KECC, but they are disappointing me.
So, okay, let's see. Panthers versus Canton 11.
Yeah, that's a very good game, to be honest.
So, who's your pick?
I think both teams like to express themselves, just go wagging the ball. With I'll pick actually Panthers.
Samish?
I'll pick Panthers too.
Okay. MCC Miles versus Troy Hawks. MCC Miles 2-0. Samish?
And Troy Hawks for that one.
Troy Hawks for
sorry. No, I was thinking it was MCC Miles. That one.
MCC Miles, okay. The next one is Blues versus Legends. Unfortunately, we cannot ask Samish. So, Jesse.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear.
Blues versus Legends.
Legends for me.
Okay. FHCC versus Pokeries. I think Pokeries 2-0. Any objections there?
Yeah, Pokeries for me, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Samish, you good, right?
Yes.
The next one is Blazers versus Indus Thunders. Samish, you cannot predict here. I mean, you're not allowed to predict here. So, Jesse, your call is final. Blazers versus Indus Thunders.
Yeah, and that's on a Saturday, right?
This is on yes, Saturday.
Yeah.
At 1:30.
At 1:30.
At 1:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Indus Thunders would take this. Yeah.
Okay. Warriors versus Strikers.
Is Jesse allowed to predict this game?
No, Jesse is not allowed to predict this one. So this is going to.
I'm just kidding. I think Warriors for me.
Okay, I think.
Strikers is a very
wanted
good
to ask
Jesse,
but I mean, I'll go by my rule. FCC versus Risers.
FCC.
Samish.
FCC for me too.
Okay, and with that, we have concluded today's predictions too. Okay, keep listening DCL Radio. We'll meet again next week. Thanks a lot, Samish. Thank you, Jesse. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thank you.